Hey, what's good, everybody? I'm Isaac Lee. The finale of Black History Month ends with HBO Max's The United States vs. Billie Holiday. This is the rundown. So a couple days ago, I watched The United States of Billie Holiday because I was interested in her story. I never really knew anything about her. I only heard her name here and there. After watching it, I can see people looking at it in two different ways. The first being a cautionary tale of drug, sex, and rock and roll, with the rock and roll being her abusive relationships. The second being a tale of perseverance, when you take into account her upbringing, coming up in a brothel, her battling drug and alcohol addiction, her even rising to prominence as this famous singer who would later just refuse to be silenced. One thing I definitely appreciate is the fact that the movie didn't shy away from showing the ugly reality of what drug addiction really looks like. I even wrote it in my notes that this movie made Ray look PG. And if you've seen it by now, you definitely know which scenes I'm talking about that didn't hold any punches. Even with the lead actress who played Billie Holiday, Andra Day, there was never a time I was pulled out of the movie and not believing that I wasn't actually looking at Billie Holiday. Same way with the movie Ray. When Jamie Foxx played it, there was never a time I was pulled out of it, and the whole time I believed he was that person. And I thought the same thing about Andra Day. She was that person. This is definitely a movie that's worth ending Black History Month on, despite all the reminders of the racial inequality that Black people faced, especially in the South. The movie takes place in the 1930s, where Billie Holiday is already in the prime of her career, and at this time she's already gained scrutiny for her song Strange Fruit. Her fans, on the other hand, love her and love the song, but because of the backlash, not only is she at odds with bandmates, she's also at odds with the FBI. A couple weeks ago, I reviewed a movie, Judas and the Black Messiah, which also focused on the FBI informant William O'Neill. So when I watched this and I see Billie Holiday getting close to someone who also works with the FBI, I couldn't help but make the distinction between the two. Except in this case, we see a whole department full of black federal agents who are specifically assigned to spy on other black people, and that includes tapping phone lines. And not only do we see her being set up by people she's close to, there's even a scene where she's being sentenced for a year in jail, where her lawyer is even in cahoots with the FBI as well. And at this particular time, we're still reminded that even if you're famous, you can still be denied for just everyday things. There's a particular scene in the movie where Billie is walking with a friend who happens to be white, and they're walking into this establishment, and they just want to do something very normal that we take for granted now, just walking into an elevator. But Billie specifically is stopped and told from the elevator operator, who happens to be black, that the only Negroes to be on this elevator is, the people that work there. So of course she's upset, but I like the fact that the movie focuses, well, it doesn't focus, but it shows the disdain on the elevator operator's face, in the fact that he's in a position where he has to uphold a practice that he knows is unfair, just doesn't make sense. As much as I like the movie for what it was, I can't help but feel like we didn't get the whole story. Like, how did she get famous as a singer? Like, whatever happened to those movie roles? Like, whatever happened to these other aspects of her life? This movie was so centered around her drug habit and the song Strange Fruit that it cut out a lot of other interesting parts that would have been interesting to tell. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? And if you like what I had to offer, hit that like and subscribe at the bottom. I'm Isaac Lee. This is The Rundown.